risk? If you give us an update, who have you got standing? If there's anyone else fallen, and how's it been?
It's been better this week than last, I guess I'd say. So Oscar got COVID on Monday, so he's obviously unavailable. All the boys that have had COVID are available, so that's good. And the boys that have had the soft tissue injury, like Zorks and Daniel Rich, Jared Berry, Jackson Pryor, they all trained today like they could play, but not going to take the risk with any of them. We'll give them another week and make sure they're fully right. It's a particularly important time of the year, and you don't want to just, I don't think we'd rush them back if we played them this weekend, but I want to err on the side of caution and bring them back next week.
Is that an easy decision?
It's tempting because you're always wanting to play your best team, but I think it makes sense at this time of year, so we've got to do what makes sense.
And on the COVID guys, you said they're all available. Did some of them get a run today, or do you have to wait a little bit longer to see how they come out of the...
No, there's a couple back tomorrow, but the boys that were back today trained and they were pretty good. So how they go in the 2 hours of a game, I don't know how you can assess that, but certainly at training they had plenty of energy.
There seems a lot of, unknown about how clubs have handled it differently, guys coming out of COVID. Do you have a philosophy on that, or is it a case by case and you'll decide closer to the game?
I guess it depends how bad or how sick they were during it, and it seems that all of our guys weren't overly sick, so that's a positive. But you're right, Michael, there's so many unknowns about it. I think people are doing research papers and things on the after effects on athletes, but we're playing it a little bit by ear. But certainly if someone turned up today and they clearly weren't well, we wouldn't be playing them. That's about all we've got to go by, really.
How do you try and weigh up the risk, I guess, with the injured and the COVID, the risk of further problems for those players versus the reward of trying to get your best players back on the field? Just the risk versus reward with these decisions you've had to make.
Yeah.
It must be tempting to try and get as many of them back as you can on the field at once.
Yeah, it is. But I think you've always got to have one eye to the future. And yes, we lost last weekend, but we're still in a good position on the ladder, and we've still got a little bit up our sleeve. We're not in desperation stakes or anything like that. So I think while you've still got a bit up your sleeve, you've got to make those sensible decisions, I think, and the temptation's always there to pick your best team every week, but I just feel like at this point the right thing to do is to be as sensible as possible.
That buffer, what you have up the sleeve, is that one out? There's a loss this weekend?
I don't know, I haven't looked at the ladder. To be honest, I know, we all know it's tight. But if we lose, we lose. But we got into that situation last year and we fought our way out of it. So I'll back our group in. We're looking forward to putting on our best performance this week. I thought under all the circumstances last week, the performance was had some merit in it. Whilst I thought in the first half defensively we lacked cohesion, but to still be 4 points down with 1 minute to play with that many changes, I thought that showed a lot of courage by our boys just to keep pegging away.
And normally you'd be able to ride on that, wouldn't you, to play this week? But a lot of those players aren't going to be there from what?
Oh, well, a few of them won't be because it's unusual when you make 9 changes. And, we'll probably bring 5 or 6 back this week, so there's going to be some change, yeah. And obviously Oscar's one of those because he's got COVID, but then some of the other boys that played last week will potentially go out of the side, yeah.
So what's the area of, I'm sure you've got an area of focus or an area of improvement this week? What have you sort of spoken to the players about?
Yeah, we mostly looked, in our review, we mostly looked at our team defence in the first half in particular and how that fell down and why. So that was the main focus. It's been a short week, so we dealt with that on Tuesday morning, and really we've just been aiming to keep everything positive and upbeat around the place, because it's been quite chaotic's not necessarily the right word, but there's been a lot going on, out of everyone's control to some degree. So it feels a little bit calmer right now. We haven't had anyone get COVID since Monday, so hopefully all the measures that we've put in place are taking effect, and that we've seen the last of that for a while. Though you couldn't be 100% sure, could you? Really?
Chris, we're going to talk about Buddy Fagan's future in Sydney. If he became free with the Lions, would be interested in it?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought of that. That was sort of come on the news yesterday, didn't it? I think, yeah. Well, I've had an association with Bud, so I'll be pretty happy to have him here. But that's just purely from my perspective. We've never had a conversation about that, because we've never ever thought that that would be on the cards. I would imagine that Sydney and he will work something out. But the way he's looked this year, he still looks like he's got some good footy left in him. So we'll see how all that goes. But they're questions our list manager answers, not me. It hasn't been a thought that's crossed my mind, to be honest. Hey? Oh, I don't know. I'll probably take a pay cut to get him, I reckon, mate. But I'm not in the salary cap, so yeah.
Chris, what about other changes rather than the forced or the ones who are coming back from COVID? Is there anywhere else that you are tinkering with, and have you made changes for this weekend?
No, not really. I mean, we haven't finalised our team yet. We just trained, so I didn't know who was going to be okay and who wasn't going to be okay, and I've just walked straight out from training, so I can't give you the full story because we've got another meeting to get through. But no, I think the guys that will come in will mostly be the boy. I'm pretty sure that they'll be just blokes that missed last week. I mean, all 9 that missed would have played last week if they had been available. So that was sort of.
So, sorry, Chris, just to confirm, the guys that missed with COVID last week that trained, was that Kitty, Kalachi and Dan McStay and
Harris and Noah and still to come. Yeah.
Chris, what did you make of what happened to David Noble as a former, as a fellow coach and someone who used to work here?
Yeah. Obviously felt great empathy for him. Sometimes when you go to a club that's been down near the bottom, it takes a fair while to get the change to occur that you need, both culturally, internally within the club, and then obviously on the field. I know from my perspective, it wasn't until my third year as coach that we actually started to look like a decent team. I guess we showed signs in the second year. We only won 5 games, but we lost a lot by not much. But it's really hard, and I guess I haven't spoken to him. I've sent him a text. I haven't spoken to him, but you probably, if you're in that position, you feel maybe a little bit cheated because you just do need time when you go to a club that's down near the bottom. The transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's usually a slow process. In some ways, the transformation of the Lions probably surprised me that it happened as rapidly as it did in the third year to get 16 wins. I was thinking, gee, if we can win 10 or 11 next year, that'd be a good result. But it happened that way, and it's probably from my own personal coaching career's perspective, that was a great thing. They weren't as patient with him. I'm sure he'll bob up somewhere else in footy because he's a talented football person, and he'll be able to make a difference somewhere else, I'm sure.
How much have you looked at back to Saturday, how much have you looked at the last time you played them? Because they jumped you, didn't they, that first half? Yeah,
they did. Well, they did for the first 15, 20 minutes. I think we got the scoreline back to 8-6 by quarter time, thank goodness. But yeah, no, they did. They've got that capacity. They've been a finals team for the last 5 or 6 years, the Giants, and a lot of the blokes that played in those finals, most of them are still there playing. So they're a talented team, very talented team, and will be hard to beat, as is every team in the competition this year, probably bar North and a bit of West Coast for different reasons. But outside of that, every game's hard. you know, as we saw last week, you know, you look at a team like Essendon, they're not having a great year, but in the last month they've beaten us, Sydney, and St Kilda, who were all teams in the 8 when they played them. So that's how close it is.
There's a bit of a state of origin feel about it. Brisbane, Sydney.
Oh yeah, well if you want to draw on that, I might pull that one out of my team meeting tomorrow, mate. Yeah.